Hey, so coming at you still in quarantine. Kelly and I are a bit behind on our videos, so we have to catch up a little bit. So now we're back to cooking and back to videoing. So I'm going to, my future son-in-law mentioned that he was hungry for smoked salmon. So I grabbed a huge side of Atlantic salmon out of the freezer. And what I'm gonna do is I'm going to put a cure on that salmon. And this is gonna be like a 2-day process. So we're gonna get the salmon out and we're going to put it skin down on some saran wrap, or cling wrap I guess. Am I still using the old term saran wrap? What I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna take like half of this mixture, put it on the cookie sheet on top of the cling wrap. Then we're just gonna put that in there like this. Kind of spread it out a little bit. And then we're gonna get our salmon. It's a nice chunk of salmon here. We're gonna take that. We're gonna make sure that that's all covered. I'm gonna press that down. Make sure we're showing all the love all the way around. I think we are. And then of course we're gonna just take the rest of this and we're gonna put it on top of our salmon. So the cure is half a cup of coarse salt and a cup of brown sugar. Now a lot of the recipes will call for 3/4 of a cup of salt or even a cup. I've always found that that's way too salty. So I add less salt and I add a tad bit more sugar. So what we're gonna do is we're just gonna make sure that this is covered. We're gonna press this in. And as this sits in the refrigerator, is we're gonna pull this out tomorrow. So it's around 6 o'clock now. We're gonna pull this out probably around 2 o'clock maybe in the afternoon tomorrow. And real quick, I'm gonna just unwrap it, put it on a rack, and then put it in the refrigerator overnight. Because that's really where the curing comes in when it sits in the refrigerator. That's when the smoke will stick to the meat. And then on Thursday, because I guess it's Tuesday now, we're gonna take it and we're gonna smoke it on the smoker grill. All right, now that we have this salmon wrapped, what we're gonna do is we're just gonna put this cling wrap around. And I put quite a tail on the saran wrap, as you could see. So we're gonna make sure that that gets wrapped tight. All right, so then very important, what we are going to do is we're gonna take another cookie sheet and we're gonna put this on top of the pan to weight it down. So as this starts to settle in and the cure starts to actually break down the salmon, there'll be enough weight on it, okay? So we'll see you tomorrow. Hey, we are back the next day with our salmon project. I should say our smoked salmon project. So we left this in the fridge. You'll see the first part of the video from yesterday where we put the cure on the fish and we put it in the fridge for 24 hours. I just left it in for 24 hours. So we'll see how that turns out. You could put it in for like 12 to 15 hours, but hey, why not? So we're gonna take the weight off. And then we're going to, there we have the fish. You can see some of the cure kind of leached out over it. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take the fish out and I'm gonna thoroughly, and I mean thoroughly, like you're taking a bath, is actually rinse this thing off because you wanna get all of that cure off of there, or if not, you're just gonna end up with something that tastes like a smoked herring if anybody ever had that very salty fish snack. So we're gonna rinse this really good and then we'll be back and I'll show you what our next step is gonna be. Okay, so step 2 of smoking our salmon. What we wanna do right now is we took the wrap off. I rinsed this really good and you can already feel a difference in the texture because what that cure does is it draws all the moisture out of the salmon and it makes it a little more dry so you can prep it for smoking. So real quick for this step, you're gonna take it in, get yourself an old cookie sheet and just put a rack on it and you're gonna let this kind of open so air can get all around it. And this is going to go to the next stage of getting ready is called pellicle. And that's where you put it in the fridge or out in the air to let it air dry. And what pellicle, that stage does is when you smoke it, it actually enhances the smoke sticking or adhering to the meat during the cook time. So we're gonna leave this in the refrigerator for another 24 hours to go through that pellicle stage. And then we'll be back tomorrow night when we throw it on the smoker and we start to smoke this thing. See you then. Greetings. So we're gonna continue on our third day of our salmon smoke. So this has been in the refrigerator for 24 hours. It's a really windy and cooler day here in PA. So I'm gonna take the camera out there because it'll just be a lot of wind. So basically I'm gonna get the pit boss on the smoke setting and I'm gonna preheat it, and then we're gonna throw this on, and then I'm gonna take some video of it while the fish is on there. So as you can see, this really firmed up nice and it's at a dry state, primed for smoking. So I want to thank everybody for subscribing. We got some new subscribers out there. I want to welcome John aboard. I hope you're enjoying the videos, and thanks for your support. Alright guys, so probably not a great night for smoking. It's a little cold. I had to fiddle around a bit with the pit boss. But what I did, it's been on about an hour and 30 minutes, and I melted some apricot fruit spread, organic fruit spread. So it's a little chunky, and what we're gonna do for the last 30 minutes, I'm gonna put this apricot spread on the top of that, and then we'll go out and we'll take a look into the tundra. Alright guys, so as you can see, we're just gonna take this and we're just gonna put this right on here. And it's really cold out here, so definitely we're gonna see how this comes out. I may leave it on just as long as the igniter stays lit. I might just let it go maybe for another hour instead of 30 minutes. So we're just gonna get that glaze on there and let that set in, but it's looking pretty good. We pulled the salmon off the grill. As I said to you guys, we had to we put the apricot preserves on, and it's really cold out, so, and windy, so the heat was fluctuating, so I had to play around with it a little bit. It smells like fish. My wife doesn't like, Kelly doesn't like fish, so, but it is looking good, and I'm gonna give the first taste. It's delicious. Really good smoke flavor on it. It's not too salty, because remember we kind of cut the salt in half, and it's got a little bit of a sweetness to it. It's very good. I would highly recommend it. We'll be eating this. I'll be eating this and some salads, and I'll have to see what fixings I have since we haven't gone grocery shopping in a while. All right, hope everybody's staying safe out there, and we'll see you next video.